Howdy. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Amanda Frank, and I am just chilling today. I made a video a couple days ago about mothers, um, my six mothers that I had in particular, and some of the ones that I remember the best. And I did a video on that. I wasn't able to post it for Mother's Day, so I'm gonna try to do a Mother's and Father's Day one in one. So I'm here chilling. Um, Let me know if you like this like stuff in the back or whatever. I just set something up because I thought it looked cute. Um, but yeah, I got my coffee today, and we're gonna talk about my father. Hmm. Well, my dad. Um, he was a lot, I guess. From a very young age, I remember um, just things that he would do that wasn't things that a dad would do. Um, I remember him always telling me, like, he would go out to work with his friends, and he would always tell me to get ready and be dressed by the time he came home. Um, and then when he came home, it was a different story. Like, he was either drunk or something because he used to drink really heavily. Back when I was a kid, he stopped. Um, I don't know when I was like, well, he didn't stop, but he stopped drinking to the point of like being drunk. Um, he drinks occasionally with his family or whatever, but he used to drink like he used to come home like pissed drunk. Um, and I used to get all excited because I was like, my dad is coming home to pick me up. We're gonna go to like go do stuff together, father daughter stuff, you know. And I was looking forward to it. I was always looking forward to it. I was always happy about it. I was always like, I grew up a tomboy, and there's no two like ways about it. I grew up a major tomboy. From like the age of, I don't remember, it's 7, 8. Um, I was like always roughhousing with my guy cousins, or like in the freaking pine barrens in New Jersey trying to, I don't know, find the Jersey Devil with my cousins. Um, if anybody knows about that, it's kind of an interesting story. But yeah, it's all like just things we used to do, right? Um, and So when he would come home, I would be waiting, I would be ready, I would be dressed, I would like make sure I got all my stuff done or anything that my grandmother wanted me to do before he came home or whatever. And he would come home and he would be like pissed drunk, like can't kind of stand drunk. Um, and he would always find reasons to pick at me. Like I did something, my grandmother would tell him I did something throughout the day. Like I was a kid. I used to to draw on walls. I was very artistic, I guess, when I was a kid. So I used to draw on walls, and I get it. It's annoying. It's annoying. I don't want my walls to be drawn on. But if my child draws on my walls, I am not going to in turn take them, beat them continuously, and then lock them in a closet for hours. A couple months ago, and I don't, it wasn't a couple months ago. That it was more than that. It was like maybe a year into me and my partner being together. Um, he knows about some of my like my triggers, my traumas, my things, but some of them um I just I don't say anything about. And this was one where me and my partner were like roughhousing. We roughhouse. We like we play wrestle and stuff, whatever. Um and he went to the closet and he didn't know that I had like these traumatic things in my past. So he went to the closet and he shut off the light and then he closed the door to close me in there. And then he was holding the door, but he was laughing while doing everything. So it was like it was supposed to be a fun, like all in good fun, right? We mess with each other like that. We play pranks on each other. We do things like that. But when he opened the door, um, I was kind of in a state of panic. And like he found me like on the floor, like curled up, crying because I didn't. In that second, like I knew he wasn't trying to do anything bad to me, but in that second, it all came back because that's exactly what my dad would do, right? Um, and I love my partner. He was so apologetic afterwards, and he was so like willing to just like take accountability. And I was like, but it's not your fault. It's not your fault that you did that. It's like it's stuff from my past, right? Um, so my dad, he used to come home drunk from where he used to say he was working with the boys, and then he used to like come home pissed. Or he used to like take random trips to Atlantic City and then come home and he was drunk and whatever. And or sometimes he wasn't even drunk. Sometimes he would just like be, you know, just he would come home, he would be normal and he would be sober, not normal. Let's not say normal, but let's say sober. He was sober. And again, he would find things that I would do. And again, I was a child. I'm talking about like for the earliest I could remember this happening was around 4. Um, so he used to come home drunk, all of that, and then he used to find these things, whether it be me drawing on the walls, whether it be me, I didn't do one task that one of them asked me to do that day, and I was in trouble. Or there was this one time, um, I found his dirty magazines, like really fucking weird dirty magazines. Sorry, excuse my French. Um, and I didn't know what they were at the time because, like, again, I was a kid, so I kind of like flipped out and started throwing them everywhere. And then, well, I got a lot of repercussions for that, because apparently he was like collecting them or something. I don't know. But yeah, so after that, he dragged me by my hair, and he took me to the room. He took me to his room. In his room, he had a lock on the door from the outside. So if you were to be inside the closet, there would be no way to get out. So he would always take me to his room, um, hit me. He would kick me in the stomach, or he would slap me, or he would pull my arms really hard, or he would drag me, or um, he would sometimes he would punch me on the tummy. Um, just anything you could think of. Also, like he used to use things like wire hangers, belts, paperweights, anything that he could find at the time. I've gotten so many wrenches thrown at me in various parts of my body. Hammers, things like so many different types of things like thrown at me. Um, but yeah, I digress. That's going into a little deeper into the story. Um, so yeah, he would hurt me really bad to the point of sometimes where like I would hold my tummy, like it would hurt so bad. Every part of my body would hurt so bad. Um, and he would pick me up and then put me in the closet and lock me in there for hours, for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. And sometimes I would like I wouldn't know if it was daytime or nighttime because there were no windows in there, and he would shut off the light, pitch dark, pitch dark, and he would just leave me in there for hours. And it was, I would always wonder like, where's my grandmother? Um, where was my mother at the time? Where was my aunts or my uncles or my cousins or any of those people? Because we had like 17 people in one house. Like that's how gypsies lived. Like Romani gypsies, Roma, Gom, however you want to say it. Most live like 17 people in one house, like a three-bedroom house. So we had so many people in the house that could have helped, could have done something, but they would leave me in there for hours as if they just would kind of forget I existed. And then I would start to think, like, you know what? If they don't even care, forget I existed. And then I would start to think, like, you know what? If they don't even care, um, to wonder like where I am for hours and hours on end, um, until he decided I was ready to get out. Because I do remember hearing my grandmother one time, or a few times, not one time, a few times, telling him, um, she's had enough. She would always say it in Romanes, but in Gypsy. But she would tell him like she's had enough, let her out. Um, and he would tell her no, and then she would just go along with it because that's just what everybody did for him. Kind of a little backstory for him. When he was really young, he had tumors the size of grapefruits throughout his body, and they took most of them out. Um, and my grandmother kind of made him like a little god because he was sick at one point, and then anything that he wanted or did, there weren't really any repercussions for it. Um, like, I'm not the only one he was cruel to. He was cruel to a lot of different people in the family just because he could be, basically. Because he or the people around him would allow it. Because, like, the other Boria or the Boria in the house, which Boria means daughter-in-law, they would try to like not have him harass them or cuss them or put moths in their face and make big troubles and stuff like that. But he just did it because he knew he could, and he got away with it. He did get away with it. He always would, right? Whether it was him harassing one of the girls in a like harassing them, cussing them, stuff like that. That's what I mean. Um, Putting moths in their faces because he knew that they were like they had phobias of bugs or certain bugs. Um, and he would do that just to antagonize them, just because. Or he would do it because his mom, like one of the Boria or the daughter-in-laws, were um, not mean, but they were trying to assert themselves, right? Trying to set some kind of boundaries with their mother-in-law, and he didn't like that. So he would start arguments, or he would start you know, like take things from here, put them there to make them just seem like the girls were the ones at fault when really the girls didn't do anything. He used to, anything you could think of, uh, put them down. These women, the Boria, the daughter in laws, he would put them down, he would cuss at them, he would say what he wanted to them. And then at the end of the day, they couldn't really do anything because they would go to my grandmother. And my grandmother would get mad at them and she would start yelling at them and cussing at them because her son used to be sick and all of these things. And like, I get it. He used to be sick. He is, I guess he's still sick now. But that doesn't give you a reason to be mean or rude or cuss somebody or do anything like that. That doesn't give you a reason to be like that. It doesn't give you a pass to be like that just because you've had hard things done in your life. Because everybody's had something bad done to them. But most people, most normal, just your everyday average healthy human being, um, they're just normal, you know? They don't do weird stuff. Um, they don't do things like that. And he used to think it was really normal. He used to like it, or I guess it was because my grandmother would allow it so much that he took it upon himself to really like feed into that where he could do no wrong. Like he could do anything. Um, like I remember this one here's one weird story. My friends from um my friends from next door. We used to live in New Jersey. And my friends from next door told me about a Evanescence concert in Philly, in Philly. And it was a free Evanescence concert. So it was going to be in this big park. It was going to be really cool. It was like when Evanescence was at like their peak, right? Um, I'm also a huge Evanescence fan. My stepmom at the time was an Evanescence fan, and we were all like we were excited. And he said, oh, he like actually said he would take us, right? And both of us were kind of like baffled at the fact that you're gonna take us to a concert, like, hmm, okay. So we got all dressed. My mom got dressed. I got dressed. We like whatever. Um, we're going to Philly, and we turn up at the venue for the show. And for some reason, Evanescence wasn't able to play that day. So who ended up playing was the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, which also are their band that I like. Um, but he didn't want to stay for that because he didn't know who they were, so we didn't stay. We just left. And instead of like doing something that was doing something as a family or doing, taking me and my stepmom out for lunch or whatever, or let's just do something as a family, right? Instead, this man took us around Philly to show us all of his old strip clubs. Um, now, as I was brought up in the Romani gypsy community, culture, ethnicity, whatever you want to call it, um, you don't do those things with your daughters and you don't do those things with your wives. You don't show those kinds of things to your wife or your daughter because it's considered lajav, which means embarrassing. Um, and you just don't, right? So me and my stepmom at that point, we were like baffled, like what the hell is this? Um, Yeah, and then we went home. Everything was normal. I remembered that night my dad and my stepmom getting into an argument. I'm gonna pause for a minute to say this again. Um, I am not talking about every single Romani, Gypsy, Rom, um, on the planet. I am talking about the people that bought me. Okay, I do not consider myself a gypsy anymore. I consider myself just a normal person that was raised. I was born in, not, I was born into it. I was bought into it. So I was bought into this community, culture, ethnicity, whatever you want to call it. And I was raised with it my whole life. So yes, I know the ins and outs, and I've only been out for 3 years. So it's not that long that I've been out. Um, But I'm not talking about like every single Roma or Romani person in the world because I don't know every single Romani, Gypsy, Romano, Roma person in the world. No, I'm talking about my experiences with the people that bought me and also with people that were supposed to be family or friends or anything like that. So they're my experiences. And yeah, yeah, take it as that. Um, Another quick side note, somebody left a comment and told me that I need to stop boo-hooing about my C CSA. Um, and that's not something that you should ever tell anybody. I'm not sobbing about it. I'm not sitting here crying. Yeah, I get emotional. People get emotional, okay? Would you rather me sit here and not cry and not have any type of emotion? Realistically, I think that's what you people would like because Romani gypsies do like to be very um emotionless. Very emotionless. Like you don't talk about emotions. You don't have emotions. What is an emotion? Like what is it? So, yeah, that was a quick side note. Back to my dad. Um, so my dad. Yeah. There were a lot of um beatings and being locked in closets for hours. For you know the silliest. Sometimes it was just for me being spicy. Like I would say something like silly or spicy to him, or I would answer him back in a way that he wouldn't like, and then you know, old Amanda's here's getting the whip. So that's just how it was. Um, and it was rough. It still is rough. Um, and yeah, so getting older. Getting older, I started working with my dad because my dad didn't have a son. So I was kind of the one that filled that void, um, which was weird for me because, on one hand, being in the gypsy sect that I was in, or the clan that I was in, which was the Poveste side, Poveste Russian, um, I was taught to like the girls are always really made up, right? They're really made up. They're always dressed. They're always cleaned up. They're like that's really all they do. The girls that stay home just stay home, put on makeup, get dressed, and just lounge around the house, either taking pictures or doing TikTok videos or whatever, the younger girls. Um, so, or putting on nails, getting their hair done, whatever. And then I'm over here, right? Like, I have all these girl cousins and stuff, and they're all doing these things. They're all going to nail salons and to all of these things. And then I'm over here, like, picking up a jackhammer with my dad, or cylinders with my uncles, or um, like I remember stripping the paint from the jackhammers with a grinder, with a grinding wheel. Um, and we didn't really use equipment to make it safer. So if anybody's ever used a grinder um, to chip away paint, you kind of know that pain. um, in every time like those paint chips, like they fly at you, like they really hurt. Um, so yeah, so I used to, from the age of 8, I started doing that with my dad. Um, and I guess I could say I'm fairly strong from it. Um, like I remember like the dudes or my girl cousins joking with me and being like, wow, you can hold one 90-pound jackhammer in one hand and one 90-pound jackhammer in the other hand. And I used to get embarrassed because honestly, it was like, why is this like this is it doesn't feel like this is what I should be doing, even though I I did enjoy like the labor, the manual labor. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed using grinders or welders or um, sandblasters and stuff like that because it was satisfying to see something so kind of grimed up and dirty. And then if you use a sandblaster, it's like it's brand new, right? So you're bringing it back to life. So it was very satisfying. So I enjoyed that aspect. The aspect that I didn't enjoy was if I didn't do something right, if I didn't do something soon enough, or if I didn't do something the way that my dad wanted me to do, um, I would get something thrown in me, or I would get cussed, or I would be called some really bad, unspeakable names because you know, I didn't bring um, the vise quick enough, or I didn't get the wrench quick enough, or I didn't get the right wrench, or I got the normal wrench instead of the impact wrench, so then the impact wrench would be thrown into my body. Um, that wasn't fun. But yeah, again, moving up a little bit more, uh, it was confusing for me growing up, being working with my dad, and being this kind of like knowing that I was supposed to learn the cleaning and the marriage and all of that, which I did learn all of that. I learned all of that too. Um, the dancing, the singing, the whatever, the anything that you can kind of think of, like all of the things that I needed to learn, I did. Um, and on top of that, I was also kind of a boy because I would work with my dad and um, just a weird, hard upbringing and very confusing because on one side um, I wanted to be like all of the rest of my girl cousins, right? I wanted to be like all of the rest of them. Just they makeup and clothes and fancy stuff and whatever. And then on the other side, I was like, well, hey, wait. I'm different. I'm a little bit different, right? Like I know how to work. I know how to do these things, and it was kind of cool for me to work on those kinds of things. Um, and I did enjoy it. I enjoyed working on jackhammers and cylinders and all of those kinds of like machinery and stuff. I enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy the fact of what my dad would do to me. if I didn't get something right, which I didn't have any professional training. I was 8, and then I stood working with him till I was, I think, 18, no, 20, I think, different businesses, but we kept working together. Um, so my next job, the next thing that we did together, was we started to do automotive bodywork. And that is something, again, that is something that I really, really, really enjoyed. Um, I enjoyed taping in the bumpers. I enjoyed sanding them down. I enjoyed spreading out the Bondo, and then like seeing how satisfying it was to get that Bondo down to an even surface, or like round it out to the shape of the metal. Um, it was super satisfying. But again, the things that my dad would do to me made it unsatisfying, which was if I would do something wrong, I would get physically hurt. Um, here's an like this is leading into another little kind of like a little story. Sorry, my hair is freaking me out. I don't know what it's doing today, but it's doing it. Um, so here's another story. So we were working with one of my dad's friends, and we was at his house. So it was my dad's friend, his wife, all of his kids were home, and it was me and my dad, and we were all there working on, if I could remember correctly, it was a 67 Chevelle, I think, if I can remember correctly. Um, and we were working on this car, and I was doing something with the trunk. I don't remember exactly what I was doing, but I was doing something with the trunk. And my dad came over, and I told him, like, before he came towards me, I told him, my hand is in the trunk. Please don't press down on it. He walked forward and he immediately slammed down on the trunk. And if you know, like, these older kind of bodies of cars, they're very well made and very, like, sturdy. So having your hand smushed between those two, like that, it hurts. It hurt a lot. And on top of it, nobody could find the keys. Um, he was just sitting there while the man that we was working with and his wife were freaking out because now my hand is stuck in this trunk. Um, I'm like in tears because it's painful, and nobody could find the keys. So I got stuck there, I think, for a couple minutes. Finally, um, my dad's friend came with the keys. He opened it up, and my hand was swollen and blue like instantly. It was like it was bad. Like I don't know if I think I sprained it. I'm pretty sure I didn't break it, but I think I sprained it because it was immediately like blue and swollen and all of that stuff. Whatever. So, after that, my dad's friend's wife takes me into the house with her so I can, recover and not work anymore because my right hand, this right hand, the one that like I use for everything, was kind of screwed. So whatever. So now I'm thinking that, okay, can't be that he's going to want me to work after what just happened because it's a lot of pain. Like he has to know that in his mind he has to have some common sense to know like, oh, my daughter just went through like something that hurt a lot. Let me not make her go back to work. But, you know, my life. Um, my dad came into the house. He got mad at the lady. He got mad at his friend because his friend too was trying to tell him, like, dude, leave her alone. Like, let her go sit inside with the girls because, like, she's in pain. And my dad wasn't really having it. And I kind of just, at that point, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna keep working because I don't want to hear him. I don't want to hear his face. I didn't want to, like, get hurt or something by him or have him do something else to me. Um, so I just started working and it hurt a lot. It's one of, like, it's kind of one of the worst pains I could remember ever having. Um, just having it, um, like, kind of smushed and then working with grinders and bondos and sanders and all of these things and picking up heavy, like, pieces, and it was just bad. It was a bad time. Um, but yeah, there's so many stories. There's so many stories like that that I can tell. So many things about him that I don't even know if he realizes that they're wrong. Um, because, like, there's a lot of wrong. There's a lot of wrong. Um, and I'm not saying I'm 100% ever in the right because I'm not. I know I'm not. I did a lot of bad things. I was in the gypsy community for 31 years. Um, 29 years. 31 years. What the hell? 29 years. I was in the gypsy community for 29 years. So I did things too that I'm not proud of. I did things, a lot of things that I'm not proud of. But I hold myself accountable for them. And I know that they were wrong. And I know that I don't want to do those things anymore. My father, on the other hand, I don't think that he sees wrong in any of his anything that he does. I kind of think that he just sees himself as this god and everybody else around him is just kind of there. Um, and I don't I guess it's because maybe it's because of his mom putting him on a like such a pedestal because yes, all gypsy boys are put on a pedestal when they are born. It's just males in the gypsy community are, there's no easy way of putting it, they are superior to a woman in the gypsy community. So they are treated like little gods. But my grandmother, I think, went above and beyond for my dad because of her feeling bad because he was sick when he was young. I get that you felt bad because of your son, but again, that doesn't mean let him do horrific, horrible things. So I took a pause so I could regather my thoughts a little bit. So here's another story. I don't know why this video turned out to be just like little stories about my father, but that's how it's working out. So I'm just gonna go with it. Um, I was 18. We just moved to Texas. Just moved to Houston, Texas, and not just moved. I think it might have been like a year after we moved here. And I used to go hang out with my cousins and their wives a lot. Uh, so this one cousin, I wanted to go spend the weekend with him and his wife and his girls, and he said okay. But his dad didn't like that I would hang out with them because I was a Shea Kutta, which means I was a a daughter home, which it's just I was an unmarried girl basically. So Rom gypsies Romani don't like really, when an unmarried girl deals a lot with married men and women, even if it's their cousins, first cousins, whatever. It's just they don't like it. Um, so my uncle didn't like it. So, but my dad at the time didn't care. Or really and truly, I don't really know. Sometimes I kind of think that he was just kind of like, you know what, just go. And I was like, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna go. Like, you're telling me to go, I'm gonna go. So, yeah, so I stood to my cousin's house, apartment. I stood to my cousin's apartment, in Sugarland, uh, in Sugarland, and um, we hung out. We hung out for the whole time. We hung out, and you know, I we played with the kids together. We played video games. We watched movies together. We did just normal stuff. Um, the next day, he wakes up and he tells me that him, his wife, and his girls were gonna go to Disney on Ice, and he was gonna take me with him. So it's like, okay, I'm a big kid, so I was elated. I was, oh my God, you want to pay for me? So I was like, okay, cuz great. You want to take me with you? That is awesome. Um so he told me he was going to take me with him, and then he, like, I don't know, a couple hours later, he says, "You know what? I'm sorry. I can't take you with me. I don't have enough money. You're just gonna have to stay at the apartment. There's food in the fridge, there's snacks, there's whatever. You have Netflix, you have anime, you have whatever you want. You got video games, whatever you want is here." That's cool. All right. So I'm like a kid in a candy store. I'm like, wow, this is awesome. Like, all right, I didn't get to go to Disney on Ice, but I get to stay home alone. I'm 18 years old. It's kind of one of the first times I'm home alone. Um, and I get to just be in my pajamas and watch anime and stuff and do what I wanted to do. Like, that was awesome. Okay, so here I am on the couch, my happy booty, just like watching anime. I think I was watching Bleach at the time, or Bleach, or it might have been, yeah, it was probably Bleach. Um, yeah, I'm sitting there and I'm like just was probably om nomming some kind of snack or whatever, and I hear the door fly open, and I'm like, what the hell's going on here? So my uncle and my dad, but like they had a key to the house. They didn't bust into the house, but they had a key to the house. But I didn't know that they were coming. Nobody told me they were coming, so I was just like, all right, whatever. My uncle didn't know I was there. Um, we had went. I think I stood with my cousin that time for I think like a week. I think I stood with him for about a week, and um, we had to go drop off his two daughters to his dad's house at one point, his dad's apartment at one point. And because my cousin and his wife knew that his dad didn't like me hanging out with them, they both asked me to stay in the car and wait until they drop off the girls, because they were supposed to drop off the girls, like stay 5 minutes, come out, and then we was gonna go to the mall. We were gonna go and eat. We were gonna go just walk around and have fun, right? Normal. Okay. Well, 5 minutes turns into 30 minutes, and then 30 minutes turns into an hour. Now I'm kind of freaking out. I text one of my other cousins that lives there, his brother and his wife. They come outside. They sit outside. They smoke cigarettes with me because at the time I'm smoking cigarettes. I don't smoke cigarettes anymore. Um, I vape. I vape. I'm not gonna lie about that, but I don't smoke cigarettes anymore. But we were sitting outside, smoking cigarettes together, talking, laughing, whatever. They came downstairs to me to the car. My cousin's wife brought me a bottle of water because it was like hot, right? And then they went back upstairs. And then my other cousin and his wife ended up staying, I think, another hour and a half. So I was in the car, just chilling in the car, listening to music, whatever, for about a good 2.5 hours, while they were just, you know, whatever, because they didn't want his dad to know that I was with them, which was a them issue, not a me issue. But whatever, I digress. So, um, back to my dad and my uncle busting into the house. Not busting into, I keep saying busting into the house, not busting in. They had a key. They just, I didn't know they was coming. They slammed open the door. Um, they started cussing, and my dad came and he grabbed me by my shirt because I did all of these bad things, and um, I met so many men and I did all of these things, and I'm like, dude, I didn't do anything. Like, catch me and stuff, right? Like, this was always my thing with them. Like, catch me in something that I'm actually doing, and I will tell you 100% that's what I did. I met this boy when I was 18. I did this, I did that. Um I went here when I wasn't supposed to. I snuck out here, I did that. Like every other gypsy girl. Okay? Like every other gypsy girl, because you guys all think that you guys are exempt from everything, but you guys aren't. My stepmother used to sneak out to meet boys all the time. My cousins, my every gypsy Romani, whatever that I know, has always talked to a boy, not an American boy. They've talked to gypsy boys, but it's not that deep, okay? It's really not. It's not that deep, okay? You guys raised us to essentially grow up and find husbands, okay? So, how do you expect a girl to find a husband if you don't want her to talk to him? Because you want things to be arranged. But when things are arranged, what's the point? The arranged marriages, there's almost everyone. So there's either arranged marriages or there's what we call running away, which is essentially eloping. It's not legal. It's just you run away together. You get prayed over by a gypsy pastor, and then you're married. It's most gypsy marriages aren't legal. Mine, the one that I was in a gypsy marriage for 6 years. I don't even consider it a marriage because it wasn't legal. Um, it wasn't legal. They didn't do the things that they needed to do, even in the gypsy community, to call me their daughter-in-law. So, in my mind, it's just a sadistic dude that I lived with for 6 years. Okay, I'm back again. I'm sorry about all the pausing and stuff. I think I'm having a Crohn's flare up, and it's like I'm having a difficulty sitting in one spot. Um but I'm going to try to push through this because it's I've been doing it for a while already, and yeah. So, yeah, living with this man, living with my father, that I will let everybody know again that um, the anybody I talk about, sisters, brothers, cousins, mother, stepmother, father, grandfather, grandmother, um, all of these people aren't actually related to me. I was brought into the Romani gypsy community uh, as a baby in California, and I grew up in it. I was raised as a gypsy girl, as a yeah, as a gypsy girl, and it was a rough life. Um, it was a rough life, but you know, I always think about this, and I think about my dad, right? Because everybody's like, everything that he put you through, he's still your father. But there's too much at one point. That, like there's a certain point, there's a certain limit that it's too much. There's so much more that like I don't even want to speak about, like things that happen, things that he's done, things that like he's hurt me in a lot of different ways, and I forgive him for a lot of his ignorance in some things. Um, because I believe that that's a lot of what it is. It's a lot of ignorance on whether that be my dad's side, my stepmom, my aunts, my uncles. There's a lot of confusion there, and there's a lot of like just they're just mad because I'm talking, right? Just mad because I'm talking, and I grew up in it. I grew up in the community, so I get it. I get it when people talk out about the community. Everybody freaks out and everybody panics and everybody like they just kind of, you know, they go in circles. Um, but yeah, at some point I might make another video about some more things that conspired, like with me and my dad. But for now, I think I'm going to say goodbye because talking about it's gonna sound really stupid for some reason, but talking about my CSA is easier for some reason than talking about my dad and even my stepmom for that matter, the stepmom I have right now. Um, Here, another quick story before I leave. I was going to cut it off, but here's another quick story. My stepmom was the one that actually stopped my dad from hitting me for a while. So she got married to the one that's married to my dad now. She got married to him when I was just turning 9, if I'm remembering correctly. I think I was just turning 9. Um, and she started to see how he would hit me. How he would just like, he would take his belt off and just take out all his frustration on me. Like, just cuz. Um, and she argued with him and argued with him and argued with him. And I didn't know at the time that she was getting hurt too. He was hurting her too at the same time. I thought it was only after she stopped him from hitting me, but he was physically harming her too. Um, I don't know why. It was just me and her. I don't know why. It was because my little sister never got touched, which I'm glad for that she never got touched because of like she never got hit, which is what I mean. I'm sorry, it came out wrong. Um, she never got hit by him. Um, my little brothers, it was it was just me and my mom. Um, but yeah, my mom, when I was 9 years old, she seen my dad grab a belt and he kept wailing on me with it. He kept wailing on me with it, like just various parts of my body. He started with like my rear, but then like just started wailing on me. Um, and one of the times that he went to slap the whip, she jumped on top of my body and she took that hit for me, which I will always be thankful for. Um, so if you ever watch this, I am thankful for that, and I'm thankful that you felt that need to stand up for me, even if it was only one time in my life or whatever. You stopped him from hurting me for a little bit, and that was a lot. So thank you for that. Um, After that, it was when I got older. The time that I forgot to mention this, the time that I was staying at my cousin's house, after my uncle and my dad came and picked me up, they took me home, cussed me, like said whatever they needed to say. I was a hoe, I was whatever, I did all of this crap, whatever. Um, my dad took me to my bedroom, um, took my door off the hinges. Again, I was 18 years old. Um, he took the door off the hinges, which is very awkward because I was 18 years old, and I had two brothers at the time, so showers, things were awkward, weird. Um, so he took my door off the hinges, and I had a secret phone at the time. He took the secret phone, he broke it. Oh well, whatever. Um, and then he made me kneel in front of him. This is one of the things like that really like I used to have dreams about this moment like so many times. I don't want to cry. Like I really don't want to cry anymore in these videos. So I'm gonna breathe. Um, so he made me kneel in front of him. Um, and he pulled back and he punched me in the face. Just, you know, I was 18 years old. Um, I understand if he got mad because he thought that, like, I wasn't following their rules and regulations at the time. But punching me in the face for something that you didn't even know what happened, you just assumed. You assumed what happened, and then, you know, you you kept hurting. You kept hurting me. You just kept hurting me and kept hurting me and kept hurting me and kept hurting me. Um, but yeah, so those are some of the things that I can just remember off of the top of my head right now. If I think of any later, I'll probably make another video or maybe a second part. Um, Thank you for watching. And again, if you could like and subscribe, share, comment, all of it helps. Yeah, so thanks for watching.